Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, you probably saw the title of this video already, and the reason I'm using this title, I haven't titled the video yet, but I have a good idea of what I'm going to use to title it. I'm probably going to I need to be very descriptive. I want to convey the situation, the exact conversation, interaction that I had yesterday with somebody that I've got to know on a very casual basis, a very casual daily basis. I've gotten to know this person, and I think he intentionally waited for me to have this interaction yesterday to talk to me. And I don't know what to make of it. I got several gut feelings. I've told you guys before. I've been in recovery since October 23rd, 2006, and I went through 2.5 decades of being a hardcore lying, manipulating drug user, dealing sometimes. And I have a pretty good, I feel like all people have a gut instinct. A lot of times you don't go with it or you override it. I think, all people have it. I think, when I see somebody being manipulative, it reminds me of myself, honestly, of the things I used to do back when I was using. And when I see that behavior, a buzzer will go off in my head. Okay, this interaction yesterday, like I said, let me just, if you're just new to the channel, I'm a recovering addict. I've got my life pretty together. I'm an artist. I'm a professional artist. I sell my artwork, which I just started in my recovery. I got several other side gigs. I got this YouTube channel, which is monetized. I'm doing okay. I was a former truck driver, Teamster truck driver. I built up a pension truck driving. I was an architectural draftsman for two different architects, major architects, prominent architects here in Connecticut. I went to school for architecture. I went to school for mechanical engineering. I come from a working class family, really, a solid middle to little bit below middle, because I lost my father when I was 9 to brain cancer. So I'd say we're a little, I wouldn't say lower middle class, but I definitely call it a solid blue collar working middle class. Money isn't something we take for granted. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, there's a reason I'm telling you all this. Every morning, if you don't know, I go for a walk around town here, and I go through all parts of town. I talked to him just yesterday, I think it was, about the train trestles or the bus station area. That's kind of questionable. There's a lot of police calls to that area. And I walk up the street, Main Street, that goes right into one of the most prominent parts of the city, Federal Hill it's called. It's a big, large green, maybe I'll take a screenshot today to use it for this video of that area. And in that area, there's several churches on a green. And I every morning I see people leaving one of the churches. And I at first, because they're all pushing carriages and their clothing is kind of ragtag. And then I finally realized that it must be a homeless shelter. And so I usually run into these people leaving right at 6 o'clock in the morning, which must be the time they're sent on their way, I guess. And there's one person in particular that I've gotten to know. I'm a friendly person. When I go out for my walks in the morning, I'm a solitary person. I told you guys, I do my best thinking when I'm exercising. I think about my videos. I think especially about my art. I get pictures, ideas in my head, the colors of paint I'm going to use. And I love taking walks and bike rides because it gets the blood flowing. It gets me thinking. But I'm friendly. When I pass people, I say hello, good morning. I smile. Because I want to brighten other people's day. I want to have a positive attitude. I spent enough years being in the hell of addiction, and I think there's so much to be thankful for in every day. So I'm usually friendly, but I don't usually have long conversations. So I go past this one gentleman. He's probably around my age, maybe a little older, 55 to 60. Good condition, a black man, full head of hair with gray. He usually wears a hat, like a beanie with earphones, listening to music, and he's pushing a carriage, and he goes through all the garbage. There's garbage cans all throughout town, the covered public garbage cans, and he flips up the tops and goes through them and puts stuff in his carriage. And I've never actually seen him come out of the church, but I assume he's homeless. I started going by this guy, and he started talking. I say good morning, hi at first, and then he started. He'd say something about the weather or whatever, and he's very well spoken. He's obviously, I could tell if somebody's using or drinking or was using or drinking the night before and's hungover or anything like that. And this guy isn't like that at all. Clear eyes, clear conversation, very well spoken. And we started talking more and more. And he's got a good attitude. I liked his, I liked a good eye contact. Like I said, I could tell he's clean and sober. He's out at the same exact time every morning, which shows me, he's like kind of like me, motivated, on a schedule, and I could relate to that. And he has a routine. It's even if it's just going through garbage cans, it's still it's the time of day. He's committed to a schedule, which I find I can relate to that. Most days I don't have much of a conversation with him. Like I said, I kind of cut conversations short. I'm not out there to socialize. I'm out there to exercise and to think. About 2 months ago, I saw him go down my street because I go by him in my car too later, and I'll beep and wave. And I mentioned to him the next day that I saw him walking down the street I live on. And he said, "Really? Where do you live?" Or something. And he seemed very interested in knowing where I lived, like the exact address, like he was coming over there. Like maybe he misunderstood, like I was inviting him to my house or something. I got to say this: I don't have Gaydar, like gay men have Gaydar. They claim to have Gaydar, like you can spot another gay man, and I believe that's true. I've have friends that are gay, but I have a good feel for people, and I get the feeling that this guy is probably gay or homosexual. And there's a reason I'm saying that. Because I don't know how he looked at me. I don't look like the average 57-year-old, I think. I'm not married. I'm a little neater, a little more into style, in shape. More, I'm not trying to compliment myself, but I think I might be if somebody didn't talk to me, they might think that this is something I've assumed. Maybe I'm assuming wrong. Okay, let me get to the point. Yesterday, I come around the corner, right in the downtown area, and he's at a place he's never at. He's never in this part of town. He has the same routine, same walk, same area, and he's way ahead of where he's usually walking. He's stopped. And I walk up to him, "Hey, how you doing?" And I start talking about the weather, how it was raining. I didn't walk yesterday, just some chit chat. And he said something like, "I was waiting for you." I could have swore he said that. He's pushing his cart and everything. And then he said, "I want to ask you something." Okay, I start to get a little nervous, And like I said, he's well-spoken, clear-headed, very articulate. And he says, "What kind of music do you like?" And I don't, I'm too busy really to listen to music. I used to love music. I wish I listened to it more, but right now it's just not a really big part of my life, which makes me sad. And he says, "Well, I'm a DJ and I'm into music, and I'm a promoter or a merchandiser, marketer. I think those are the words he used. And I need a driver." He needs a driver, right? So I never saw him come out of the homeless shelter, but I'm pretty sure he's homeless, going to the garbage cans every day. He might be a millionaire, for all I know. I don't, that's happened before. God knows, I've heard stories like that. But he says he needs a driver for his driving around to music stores to promote music. And I'm trying to feel him out. Is it his music? And right off the bat, I tell him, I'm busy. I mean, my morning is literally timed to the minute. I make these videos. These videos have become a full-time job for me. My artwork is a full-time job. With the fair season coming up, I'm rushing to finish paintings. On top of that, I exercise 4 hours a day. I mean, my day is, I'm busy literally from start to finish, at least 16 hours a day, every day. So I don't have time or the motivation or the desire to all of a sudden just bring somebody into my life. But part of me, I feel not guilty, but I'd like to help this guy. So he says he's into marketing. He asked me my name, so I say Daryl. At first, he told me his name was Steven. I tell him my name's Daryl. He goes, "Oh my God!" He says, "My name's really Daryl." He So I tell people my name is Stephen because he didn't really quite say why. He says, that was my uncle's name, he says. But my real name, how do you spell it? I say Darryl. Oh, me too. You know, and I get the feeling that he's telling me somewhere the truth. He said his uncle used to be named Daryl, and my gut instinct, right off the first thing I thought in my head, he's lying. It's a past boyfriend. Because he said his uncle died from addiction. And in my head, a buzzer went off. It wasn't his uncle. It was a boyfriend or lover. That was my first instinct. Not that matters. So he asked me for my phone number. And I'm like, well, I said, give me time. I said, let me think. I said, I didn't give him my phone number. I drew a line. I said, well, I would like to help somebody like this. Not that I'm in a position to help a lot. I'm not wealthy. I'm still struggling with, even though I've been in recovery for 17 years, I'm still barely, getting near where I should be. So I'm not in a position to, or am I inclined to have somebody, to welcome somebody in my life? I have no desire to do that, but I wouldn't mind helping them. So I told him that. I said, I have a YouTube channel. I'm trying to think if I could work music or him into, or help him out, get a YouTube channel, anything. But I said, let me think about it, and that's where we kind of left it. As we were walking away, he said, thank you so much because he says, you treat me like a real person. You made me feel good. A lot of people, because he's pushing the carriage and going through dumps, and he actually came out and said this. And I felt good about myself. And I told him, I said, the person's circumstances don't dictate who a person is inside, and I said, it never crossed my mind. It did cross my mind. And as I walked away, I started to pat myself on the back. You made him feel good. And then that little voice in my head said, Daryl, he's manipulating you. Most people wouldn't come right out and say it like that. You made me feel like a real person. He kind of denigrated himself. He was very quick to share with me his innermost feelings of how he feels as a person right on the side of the street. First time he talked to me. And an alarm went off in my head that he's trying to manipulate me, to make me feel good about myself, that I'm doing something good, you know what I'm saying here. So I got a couple gut feelings that I'm being manipulated. But still, I have the urge to help him in some way. But I have no inclination to give him my phone number, to tell him where I live or any of that, because he was way too forward. He asked me if I had any storage space, because he has stuff to store. And I just met this homeless guy on the street, and he's asking me if he could store his stuff in my basement. If I have a basement, that's just a little way too forward, man. And if I could drive him around to music stores. What else did he ask? He asked if I had a turntable, because apparently he's a DJ, but he doesn't have a turntable. And I said, that's no problem. You can get one at the pawn shop. I'm trying to help him. But I am, I'm not in a position to be a sucker, to be manipulated. And I'm certainly not in a position, I'm still helping myself crawl out of the hole that I dug for 2.5 decades of heroin and crack cocaine use. I'm still digging my way out of that. So I think I covered everything here. Like I said, there was a few things that just, I don't know. Maybe he thought, I'm a neat, fit person. He thought my YouTube channel was about exercise. I said, no, it's not about exercise. I said, it's actually about politics. I said, I can't stand Donald Trump. And he said, I can't stand him either. But in my head, I'm thinking, he probably can't stand Donald Trump, but maybe he's just telling me that, I got the feeling that I got a feeling that he was very subtly manipulating me to some extent, honestly. I want to know what you guys think. So this morning, first thing I thought of is I'm going to change my routine. I'm going to change my walk. There's been times where I walk by a house and the women, they're older Hispanic women, and every time I walk by, in the summer they were saying "Mita, Mita," and they'd call the other women out, and they'd stand there on the porch and wait and go, "Hi, hello," and I started to feel uncomfortable, that they were all rushing out to say hi to me. I swear to God. So I stopped walking down that street, and I've done this a few times. And I don't want to keep changing my route. I think the right thing to do, I thought about this morning about making this video, would be just tell them up front, I'm a responsible, in my head, I'm thinking I'm a responsible adult, clean and sober. I need to stand up and face this person and tell him face to face, look, just tell him the truth. Look, I mean, if I could help you in other ways, that's fine. But I feel uncomfortable. I don't give my phone number out. I don't give my personal information out. And I hope you can understand that. And let me think of other ways maybe I could help you, give you a hand up. But and I know it's probably going to be uncomfortable because I see this dude every day, and we're the only ones on the street. And we're walking by each other on a big, 4-lane city street, and it takes a long time to walk by each other every day if it's uncomfortable. And my first gut instinct was to just avoid, to go walk down another area from now on. But I was like, I shouldn't do that. I'm a responsible, clean, and sober guy. I should do the responsible, adult, manly thing and face this guy head on and tell him the truth, and deal with it. That's what I should do. And I'm going to let you guys know what I do this morning because I'm still a little undecided. All right, let me know, please. I feel like sometimes this is a blog. I'm telling you guys my life as a recovering person, a person in recovery who was an overweight, lying, manipulating, drug-using, drinking, that's who I was. So it's kind of like a blog. So I want to hear your opinions on this. Please let me know. I hope I painted a good enough picture. Have a good, I'll be back later with another video. Have a good Sunday.